Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. Again, I will tell you some of the new hot baits that are out there. Well, what makes them hot? Is it just the hype that goes with tackle companies trying to sell you on something? Or does it go because so many people start using it and it's passed on in social media and so forth, and it becomes a trend? But let's look a little bit closer of what goes into designing a lure. And I think that's something a lot of us don't realize. I remember going back years ago, these three French-Canadian men came to me and said, we've designed a new lure, and we wondered if you would use it on your TV show. And I told them, point blank, which I've told everybody before, my show was a PBS national show, and the one thing I always wanted it to be was as honest and truthful and nonpartisan, I know that's probably not the right word, as it could be. And so I told them, I said, if the lure works and I can catch fish on it, yes, I will probably use it on my show. Well, that was the beginning, but then they started calling me over to, it was in the outskirts of Ottawa where they were, and they were experimenting, making it work for the U.S. fishing, because this lure was made to put a dead minnow on and become legal in Quebec, and you could troll it. And it was a way for them to get around the new laws that prohibited using live bait in so many of the waters. So as I got more into this, we were experimenting in swimming pools and throwing this out with a plastic tail on it and making it look as realistic as we could. Well, that wasn't that easy. The weights and the differences of the ballast that you had to put into that. We cast it down the pool and start reeling it and roll on its back, or it starts rolling around, or it would just come in on its side, and to continually experiment and try to make that lure work. Well, nowadays, with technology and computers, it's a whole different process. But there's so many things that go into that in terms of what the company making it wants it to look like in the water. And the balance is so critical. They have in their mind they want this to swim with a certain type of wiggle, a certain type of depth, and so forth. But then in making that happen, it takes a lot of experimentation, a lot of technology, and it's really interesting how, why, whatever the word you want to use, one lure will become so effective over another. And there really is a difference. And one of the lures that I was really experimenting to try to find out more why this lure is becoming popular is one of the Rapala jerk baits. Jerk baits are always good, but when you jerk them, you want them to do certain things. And so, again, just knowing, and this is what I want you to be aware of, there's an awful lot that goes into designing a lure. And even though every company will have one similar to the other company, they really try to make theirs different. They try to make it stronger. They try to put the best hooks on they possibly can. They try to make it so that it won't snag. When they're designing a crankbait, the little fattish type of baits with a bill on them that dive down and wiggle and so forth, they try to make them so they won't snag easily, because no fisherman wants that to happen. And there's ways that they balance it, ways they shape so that the water moves around it in a certain way as it's going forward. There's so much that goes into that. It's interesting, but I wanted you to be aware that there is a difference in all of these lures, and I guess it's up to us to find out which one works best for us. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.